Hi, Sarah. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Jimpe. Good evening. How was your weekend? How did you enjoy your weekend? Jimpe, how is your family?
Ah,
Yeah.
finally we did
Good evening,
it.
sir. I,
How are
I
you?
cannot hear you. Is that on me? Yeah, that was on me.
From you.
Yes.
Okay, okay. How are you doing?
I'm very fine, sir. How are you doing? Thank you so much for joining in. You are at the
Thank
office?
you. You said?
Are you at the office?
No, I came back home for security reasons. For now, what are you
Oh, good.
planning? That's what you want to recommend from me.
Oh, no, no. Thank you so much for joining in, sir.
No problem. Thank you. It's my pleasure, no doubt, being here.
Thank you. Um, oh, God, we have taken so much time trying to get you on. So I'll just get right in. Good evening again, everybody, and thank you so much for joining on the session tonight. I'm so excited, you can tell. Sorry, sir, I'm having, okay, my voice is stressed. I went for a 2 day program and sang the voice away. So thank God, at least you can still hear me. Okay, Sarah and everybody else that I cannot see right now. Adamu Moses, good evening, son. Happy birthday in Arias. Thank you for joining. If you know Victor Dickson, you know that he's a man of wealth. Wealth. He's born prof. I like that one. He's born prof. It has what he knows has nothing to do with his age. Oh my God, he's so full and vast in knowledge. So I worked with Victor Dickson for 4 months, and everything I know about business and administration I learned from him. And I hope I have advanced, but basically, I've learned, and I'm so glad that I was telling my husband the other day that I'm so grateful that we have maintained this relationship because it is priceless. I don't take it for granted that you're still a part of my life. I practically run a lot of things by you, especially when it comes to business and career. And I am grateful that you are here. While I worked with you, yeah, that's why I talked about that. While I worked with you, I had access to a lot of documents and I saw that okay, NEPA has done it. So long as you can still see my face for now, because I think my husband will turn on the gen soon. Okay, so yes, Mrs. Victoria, that's my special name for her. Okay, so while I worked with you, I had access to some documents and I saw that you were doing a lot of work on the woman. I mean, oh my God. Oh my God. I saw some books, I saw some things that showed how much you had researched. And by research, I don't mean just reading. Um, I mean that you have set deep into the realms where knowledge exists, and you have found some things that are probably not written anywhere. And that's why I'm very excited that you're here. By the way, Victor is working on the book already, The Three-Dimensional Woman, and I am grateful that I am one of the first people that are hosting you to talk about this book in the now before the book is coming out. I'll just let you talk, sir. Tell us who Okay, first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself. I
Can you
did
hear
I
that
did a
part?
little
You said?
I said tell us a bit about yourself. I posted a bit of your bio. I was deliberately
A
withholding
bit
that.
about myself.
Yes.
Okay, I think a bit about myself in the most simplest word would be my name is Victor Prince Dickson. I solve complex and wicked problem for a living.
Yeah.
And my vision is to be a god.
Okay.
Short and simple.
Okay, so
That's
guys, be ready for disruption. I should prepare your mind. You're going to hear things that you're not familiar with, that people don't comfortably talk about in public. So just get ready for it because you're going to hear a lot of it. So wicked problems. When I made the post about you, my friend commented wicked. I said yes. Okay, so guys, just be ready. So please go ahead.
okay. So for me, I am so ashamed that I'm not God enough.
Mm.
And so that keeps me so unhappy. If there's in one place that I'm so unhappy about, is that I know that I'm supposed to be fully a God in flesh, but I'm not yet. And simply because there's a lot of things I didn't get right early. And it is those things that I noticed that I didn't get right that I'm trying to see as best as possible what I teach. So the fact that I teach, I don't believe in success. I really don't believe in the word progress. I know for sure, and I can prove it and discuss that with anyone, that the ultimate end of a human being is to be a God. And so ultimately, and what does a God do? A God solve problem. When anytime people have issues, they lift up, they pray to God. Why? Because they have a problem that needs to be solved. Anytime you see people worship different kind of people, different kind of gods at different level, the key word you will always see is that where there is problem, there tend to be a God. Where there is no problem, there is no God. And so that is why it has become almost so common that the more people tend to be comfortable, they tend to forget the concept of God. But when they have more problems, they tend to remember God. But unfortunately, that has been so weaponized in such a way that religion is so structured in such a way that people now make people continually feel there is a problem, even where there is not a problem. Even when the opportunities of life throws opportunity for you to grow, rather than people see it as an opportunity to grow, they see it as a problem. And immediately they see it as a problem, the next thing is that they go to God. And what is God? God simply means a problem solver. And basically that's what God is all about, a problem solver. And every problem solver that is a God, when you solve a problem, you get a reward. And the reward come in different forms. Some it can come in worship, some it come in recognition, some it come in salute, some it comes in friendship, some it can be in material things. But ultimately, the key word is this: you solve a problem as a place of a God, and then ultimately you'll be rewarded in the process. So, in a nutshell, that's what I do, and I look for best way to explain that. And for you to become a God, there are a lot of things that need to come into play. First, you need to have the mind of a God. Then you have to have the skills of a God. And you need to have the capabilities and the capacity that qualifies you to be a God. And so everything I do, especially things I teach, things I say, and all the areas I focus on, is essentially to do that. Why? Because I understand from the point of creation that when the world was created, man was given one simple instruction: tend the garden. And if you do a little bit research of the meaning of the word tend, tend has three key words into it. It's actually a compound word. The word tend simply means keep it, multiply it, protect it. Meaning that one, at the point you're keeping it, at that state it can be kept. You're just keeping it, nothing has increased. But more or less, like this is what you've been given. Keep that which you've been given. But the second phase says that is still not enough. You must learn to see how to multiply it, meaning that you can, the God or your maker can never come to you to meet you at the same state of what he gave you earlier on. You have to look for means and ways to increase it. But in the process of increasing it, ultimately something will come to destroy it. So it is your duty to protect it. So that is why it is keep, multiply, and protect. And you must develop three levels of skills to be able to do that. One, the skills of management, to keep that already which is, meaning you didn't add value to it, but this one that you've been given, keep it. Then you have to start asking that you've been given, how do you multiply it? So that is where the word creativity and innovation comes to play. How do you increase it? Why? Because ultimately there are two people on planet Earth. Originally it's supposed to be one, but there are actually two kind of people. One is human assets, and the second one is human liability. And the whole idea is that human assets are those who add value to planet Earth. These are the people that their maker, God, will look back and say, look, the fact that I put this person in planet Earth, either in a family, in a relationship, in a community, in a nation, they are going to add value. While human assets are the people who take away from what exists, they reduce from value. So oftentimes their work is to reduce. So as every human being on earth, how you gauge who you are as a person ultimately is you will be measured versus what have you consumed on planet Earth versus what you have given to planet Earth. So at every point in time, the question is that what have you eaten versus what have you given? So if you eat more than you give, then you are a liability both to man and to God. So my duty and my commitment is to see how to increase the size of human assets on planet Earth. And that, for me, is my goal.
Okay. Increase the size of human assets. I'm writing. It
Okay,
will
right.
be a sin for me not to write. Okay, so I I always tell Daniel Ubong that I feel like we're living backwards. I just came to realize that we are living backwards because how old am I? At at this age, I'm coming to realize some things that I should have known growing up, and then that's when I'm starting to live. So yeah, we're living backwards. So the point of this is, for me, first, is to learn it as much as I can do with the small number of years that I have left. I'll absorb, and then the little humans that are in my hands, I share with them so that they grow forward, they leap forward. So let's start. The three-dimensional woman. I have a woman in my house. I have a little woman. I can't wait to hear what she has to say. The three-dimensional woman. Tell us what you mean. Where did this come from?
Okay, yeah.
Sir?
The three-dimensional man. Actually, the journey started in 2002. That's when my journey into womanhood started. 2002. That's about 22 years now. 20 years and that should be 21 years. With 20 years, 21 years or so. Then I was a student at University of Jos, and in one of those days, then I already have picked up the name Born Professor. And Born Professor already started from the concept where I wanted to be a comedian. And
Okay.
then already I've read so much, a lot of philosophy and stuff. I've read deeply into a lot of stuff. So oftentimes when I do comedy, I bring a lot of heavy words. And that was where the nickname came, Born Professor. And so originally then, within my circles, if you ask me some question, it was easy to give answer, especially questions that I'm very interested in. So one of those days, my parents, my mom is in Kafanchan. So in one of those days, I went back home. And then I met my two friends who were businessmen. And then one of them asked me a very important question. And the question they asked me was simple. One of them said, Victor, if you divide a woman, you know that kind of excitement at the point you always come back from school and your friends are saying, yes, the professor is back, ask him, ask him, ask him. And then they're like two or three gathered together. And then they said, if you divide a woman into two, Victor, which one will you choose? That was the first, that's where the journey began. If you divide a woman into two, which one will you choose? I thought it was a trick question. You know that kind of thing, you think it was a metaphor. So I wasn't in a hurry to answer. So it was like, divide a woman into two, which one would you choose? So I was still surprised. And one of them says, see you now, you claim you're born professor. Simple question, answer. If you divide a woman into two, which one will you choose? So I started asking, divide a woman, how? And then they say simple. If you divide a woman from the waist upward, or if you, or you, and that means you divide her waist upward or waist downward, you have to choose one. So for me, it was like, I was still thinking it was a trick question. I want to say, fool, idiot. You claim you're a professor, a born prof, and you cannot answer a very simple question. If you divide the woman into two, it's very simple. If what you need is sex, pleasure, you choose west, downward. If what you need is just to have the baby, procreation, you choose upward, because that's where the womb is. That's where the breast for breastfeeding is. So ultimately, it was very simple. If you want pleasure and if you want procreation, choose one. So that was a very simple logic. Somehow, it really didn't sit well with me. We just cracked our joke, played and laughed, and I left. But jokingly, I started playing a game. If I see someone, especially a male, I will ask them that same question. If you divide a woman into two, which one will you choose? Waist up or waist down? And there's always that, Kai, I'll prefer waist down. That's where the main thing is. Someone will say, I'll prefer waist up. That argument. Then after a while, I've asked this question for so much that I got to realize that very unconsciously, most men have learned to divide a woman into two at every point in time from that first glance. What's her value? Is it downstairs or her value is upstairs? If it is upstairs, it goes towards marriage. If it is downstairs, it's just, look, let's have sex, and you go your way. So that formed the mental picture of most men. That was what I learned. So in the process, I decided, let me expand this a little bit and start asking women. So sometimes when I see some women are very vocal and I ask them, if you divide yourself into two, which one do you prefer? Waist up, waist down. And then there was this, then you hear language such as, I think my greatest asset is my boobs and my face. So I'll go with my face. I'll leave it down. And then some you say, my asset is my hips, man. I can't play with my hips. My hips is my greatest asset. So eventually I now get to realize that that was how we were now qualifying not only men. Don't forget where the journey began. Not only men, but I got to realize also that that qualification, that thinking pattern of most men also have inflicted most women too, to the point that they qualify themselves based on the size of the body. So at the point in time, if a woman is very busty, oh, she has the best of assets. Yeah, and especially don't forget with the media and communication playing around with the concept of figure eight and the rest of them. So ultimately it was just about the woman's body, the woman's body, the woman's body. And the more I read more, the more I watch fashion, the more I saw writing, poetry, the more I see people try to describe love and relationship. Everywhere you just realize that ultimately the only focus was the body of the woman. And ultimately it got to a point that sometimes I ask this question within some of my circles and friends. I can't remember the last time I've seen another woman that is envious of another woman's intelligence. I can't remember the last time. But it's easy to see a woman being envious of another woman's hips, breast size, and curves. That told me clearly that over the years, because of the kind of projection we're projecting on the woman has so much remembered her body that she has forgotten her intelligence. She has forgotten her heart. So entirely, there's this thing they call thingification, which is a process of turning a human being into a thing. The problem wasn't that most men were thignifying the woman. The challenge was that most women also decided and accepted to embrace the concept of thingification. So much that you will now follow it up. You see how the thing has gone to the point of, Botox, liposuction, and the rest of them, that on the average, the amount of money spent on body enhancement is something you don't want to go into that way. If you see the industry, the subsector, how much they are worth, just because averagely most men are insisting that some part of their body needs to be improved, and nobody really cares whether their head, their brain must be improved, whether their heart and the quality of their heart must be improved. And so ultimately, that's what took me into the entire journey of the woman. So the 3 dimension for me is like a loud cry to call both the male and the female to remember that we are underdeveloping the woman. A woman that was created to be three in terms of her essence. Her body has its own beauty and essence, but her heart also had her own value. Her brain has her own value, her creativity and intelligence. But we have forsaken these two components and focus on only on her body. Now the challenge is this: the man is underdeveloped because his partner had three qualities, but he's focusing on one quality. And so it's making most men not know even the value of the woman. So as far as they are concerned, the entire value of the woman is her body. And the way it is like when you are giving a capital, you have a partner that has three structure, three essence that makes her who she is. But the only thing you're more intentional about, you're concerned about, is her body. And that's why you see most men have to be poor. They cannot succeed and stand to be corrected because their partners, the women that God brought into their life, the only thing they saw was her body, not her heart, not the brain. So families are suffering for this reason. The partner that was supposed to help you, all you see is her body, not her heart, not her head. The community that is supposed to develop cannot develop because 60% of, if you check most societies, especially because of war, history, and some of those issues, there tend to be more women most times than men because of crisis, war, and challenges, right? Most men die early a little bit. So most society largely are going to have close to 50-55% population of women. And this population of women, you dampen their creativity. You're dampen their capacity to be innovative. It means you've taken 55% of innovative value out of that community. So that community cannot be wealthy. It's not possible for that community to see wealth, to grow. Because you have taken more than 50% of what makes that community wealthy. You've killed it. Because somewhere along the line, you mistake it to think all she is the body. And so this is actually what pushed me, and this is what inspired me. As a coach, as a consultant, I've had the opportunity to coach hundreds of, executive women at different levels, some low, some middle, some very, very high classes. And I can tell you this without fear or favor. The biggest challenge I have learned is that most women are trying to manage majority of the men who don't have capacity to see them beyond the body, beyond the size of the breast, beyond the size of the hips. They cannot comprehend the woman after that. Below that is okay. They know how to describe her looks, her curves, her feel, the hawks, the sex, and all of them. It's good for them. That they can comprehend. But intelligent woman, they can't comprehend. A woman that has faith, they can't comprehend. And so if you put it on the spectrum of life, you get to realize that the damage is huge. The nation is losing because close to 55% of your resources, of your human capital, you are not utilizing it. The damage that also works with it is that even in a home, 55% of the creativity, of the capacity to make wealth in that home also has been damaged because you don't see it. And this is what eventually I felt. Don't forget what I said. My key focus in life, my vision has always been to push for optimization, for godhood, which is the whole idea. And so anytime I see people performing below what they are designed to perform, I have issues at that. And now I know I can tell you without fear of favor, the world cannot be at peace. The world cannot function properly. The universe cannot see its optimization. Why? Because one major component, which is the woman, is missing in action. Because there are certain things she's been given, but she can't release. Because another area, another part can't see it. I'm not talking about woman empowerment for a woman to be strong for strong sake. That's not what I'm discussing. No. I am discussing the optimization of a woman. That if a woman has a body, has a spirit, has a soul, her body has its value. The spirit has its value. Her soul has its value. You cannot kill two of the values and take only one. And funny enough, it is her body that has the least value.
Okay, so and my mind is roaming in different directions because I'm thinking of something. Um, Daniel once made us do some short quotes, and the particular one I said was, "I am a woman, the guardian of the flame of virtue and value." So I'm
I'm not
thinking
hearing you
of,
too well, please.
oh my God, okay, is that having? Can you hear me better?
Yes. Better now. Yes, yes. Very,
Uh-huh.
very good. We're
Sorry.
good now. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the thing I said in the short ringback tune was the woman I am a woman, the guardian of the flame of virtues and values. And why that came to my mind is because you talked of the heart of the woman and the fact that it is underutilized. Is I know that it is because we don't know. Can you perhaps trace how we got to this point of ignorance? Why we have come to this point where this is the projection, this has been the projection. As a matter of fact, if a for me, I feel ashamed when I see that all a woman is trying to portray is her body, because I see that that's all you think you have, that's all you think you can give. So I feel very ashamed, but then I know that it's a projection from generations. That's how we got here. And then I don't know, I think by principle, how to solve a problem is knowing where it came from. And then probably you will begin to solve it. So can you perhaps trace how we got
Yes,
here and how
yes.
we
You
can
see,
adjust it?
okay. One of the most outstanding thing I've learned about life over time is that the universe wasn't designed for emotions. I mean, for you to be, it's not a mushy mushy place. It's a practical place. It's a place of principles.
Principles,
And
yeah.
therefore, if you don't know how to use principles very well, you miss the point. Now, let's look at how a human being is manufactured. Then you understand and see where the challenge comes. Now, I have a model called the Human Capital Engineering Canvas. And what basically it does is that he brings the concept of engineering to study how human beings are manufactured. I use the word manufactured. God creates, the society manufactures. Very key word. You need to understand the difference. God creates, but the society manufactures. And this is how it works. A man and a woman comes together and then they get married. Now, people hear a lot of English and decide all the things they discuss about relationship, but the truth is that you marry someone you share the same value with, whether you
Yeah.
understand or you don't
You
understand. Whether you have the
cannot attract who you are
capacity
not.
to appreciate.
Yeah.
Yes, you have to somewhere along the line, either from an internal or from an external perspective. So both of them come together, then they produce a child. Now you need to understand that the concept of a child is what they call intercourse, meaning knowledge. A child is a hybrid of two people, meaning one comes, the man comes, another one comes, and then they join. So it simply means that you pick the entire reality of the man and pick the entire reality of the woman, and then you join together to create a hybrid. Fine. Now, immediately both of them create that child. If you notice, the first place they will take the child to is their religion. Different kind of religion is their religion. Then they introduce that their child to the religion. And then the religion will indoctrinate the child. So the first education the child gets is from religion.
Mm-hmm.
And then you move from religion. And the next place they are going to give the child to is called culture. So they give it, the child to culture. So the next time again they are going to give the child to the next place again is called education, school. So it means for the child to move, it will enter religion, the child will go through culture, then arrive in school. Now, this is where the challenge begins. Originally, what is the purpose of what you call religion today? Spiritual spirituality is the key word actually, but in order to give it a framework, it is called religion. But the purpose of religion is this. Religion is supposed to provide a foundation for you to learn the principles of your maker, the principles of God. Why? Because when you learn the principles of God, what it creates in you is what they call virtue. Those virtue is the software that runs the universe. Is the software that God uses to manage human beings on planet Earth. So you get virtue from there. That is where you get all the love. That's where you get patience. That's where you get temperance. That's where you get forgiveness. That is supposed to be the work of religion. Now, why is that necessary? Because you're going to start interacting with human beings. And so you need to get the software, you need to get the capacity that will help you interact with human beings. Because when you interact with human beings, conflict will come. There's a place for forgiveness. There's a place for patience. There's a place for all those things. So you gather those things through religion. That's what it's supposed to do. Through spirituality. It grooms you and gives you that godlike traits. Because all these things, that's why they call it spiritual. You are getting godlike traits so that you can manage another human being. You now understand how he manages that human being. So you now come to culture. What does culture do? Culture has a community. It's a place where people interact, coming from different places. So when you now meet people, it's easy for you to interact. I don't know you before. I'm now knowing you for the first time. But what will help me and you interact is that because I have temperance, because I have virtue that I've collected from my spiritual level, when I meet you, both of us, because you too, you are a human being that have a source in spirituality. So when I meet you, we meet on a common ground. So both of us can now connect based on that. Then we now move to school. And if you go to school, now you've gotten two skills. One, virtue. The second one you've gotten is cultural companionship, how to relate with people. So at the point you get to school to start learning skills for business, professionalism, you are a good person that has a skill. That is the flow on how it goes. Before you get to become a professional, to have skill sets, train, and to work in a society, you are a good person that is not operating with skills. These are the two things that balance you. So that place, a human being is complete. But this is a challenge. Because of carelessness, weak men, listen to this key word, what I'm going to tell you. That's the secret of understanding the system. Weak men got access to religion. Immediately weak men got access to religion, they now weaponize spirituality. Because one of the first things weak men do is they love power. Every weak man is fearful. Every weak man is anxious, is tensed, and is not sure of himself. And so anytime he sees an opportunity for power, he uses that thing to fight. And so a weak man gets access to spirituality, he now weaponizes it. He now uses spirituality not for the purpose that it's meant for, but he uses it now to victimize and to oppress. Again, another weak man gets access to culture. He uses culture to weaken and also to oppress. Again, another weak man gets access to education. He uses education again to weaken and oppress. So what that means now is that the system that you are supposed to go through, the person that is in charge of that system is a weak person. And so what does the person do? The person started introducing laws, introducing traditions. He started introducing things to be able to help them manage people. So for instance, a weak man who have a problem with controlling his libido now get access to religion. It's easy for that weak man to tell you marrying 10 wives is okay. Adultery is not a problem. Anything what I do with a woman is okay. If that same weak man also get access to culture, because it's about himself, people tend to forget that every law you see is built by human thinking and idea.
Yes. Yeah.
So if there's to culture again, they tell you no, the way we do it like this, we need 10 maidens to come to our house before you know I'm a king. Why? It transfers his weakness into a cultural process. And so that's why when I see people say, no, it is our culture, I just look at them as in, are you smart enough to really realize that no culture on earth, no education on earth, no what you call religion on earth is greater than human safety? None. Anytime any religion, culture, and education contradicts the safety of another human being, contradict the respect and honor you're supposed to give another person, know that a weak man has infiltrated the process.
Yeah.
That's how you know that a weak man has entered the system. Because one of the major things weak men do is they use everything for weapons. Even what they call the like, even if a weak man likes you, he's going to use the likeness for weapon. Don't bother. And that is where you have the concept of what you call the weaponization of virtue. That's where someone can use what is good in you against you, and yet you won't know it. That's why I see somebody will cheat you and easily tell you, you know, you're a nice person, you have a forgiving heart, but then I'm human. The person will not find it demanding and responsible to change and improve. But the person will always remind you how good you are, to the point that you are very forgiving. Why? Because it makes sense easy to use you. And that is why I stand very clear and always say it with anybody that cares to listen. The worst thing you can ever fall into as a trap, if somebody tell you don't judge, is the most stupidest phrase on earth. When someone tells you don't judge, if you don't judge, you're a fool. I say it without every sense of respect. Because what is the meaning of judging? You pick a food you want to eat. What do? You look at it if it is healthy for you. You want to buy a car, you look if it is okay. You want to buy electronics, you check it all and know if it is okay. Every single thing you do, you evaluate it to know if it is okay. Then you want to enter into a relationship and then someone tells you don't evaluate. No, something is wrong. It means you are not smart. 80% of the problem we fall into is because of the same language, because people don't know how to recognize a toxic person from afar. If you recognize that person, you're supposed to from now protect yourself. But because someone sold a dummy to us that there's a problem with judging. No, judge. The only thing you should know about judging people is that the same mudu you use is the same mudu that will be used for you. So if you raise the standard, it is that same standard I will use for you. Don't raise the standard for others, then when it comes to you, you lower the standard. That is the meaning of hypocrisy. But indeed, you must learn to. And that is why we have lost most of the grounds we have lost in this. I believe that a lot of people, it is these things that is causing so much internal unrest, unfulfillment in most women. That's why most women are beginning to ask questions that most systems don't have answers to. And the reason why they can't give answers to it is because the entire system is shrouded about hypocrisy and irresponsibility. Take for instance, I always will tell you, it makes no sense to me to see somebody tell me what a man wants is respect. It is irresponsible and stupid in my standard. You mean you are dealing with two human beings? One is called a man and the other one is called a woman. And then you tell the other one, called a woman, that what the one needs is respect. As if there is a phobia, the woman has a phobia for respect. As in, if you respect her, the sun will fly away. No, 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 no. Let's put it in context. As in, if you respect her, the moon will just disappear. No. And yet you see someone sit, either in relationship program, sometimes even in pulpit, sit and confidently teach it, that what a man needs is respect. Lie. Every human being needs respect, male or female. And if you cannot understand that, then something is wrong with what you're thinking. And unfortunately, like I told you, the major challenge now is not even that most men got it wrong. No. The major challenge is that most women got it so wrong that they now teach irresponsibility. And that is where the problem began. And so for me, the entire journey for this 3 dimension was supposed to be, look, let's come home. Because we cannot continue doing this thing and you want to arrive at the right place. No.
Yeah. Yeah. The cycle has
So is
to
it
be
okay?
broken. Yeah. The cycle has to be broken. So yeah, it has been traced. It was by design. It was deliberately orchestrated by weak men. So you have not even
Hold
started
on, hold on
talking.
that. By weak men, hold on. By weak men, with support of weak women.
Yeah, by weak men. Say
Hmm.
that again.
By weak men, with the support of weak women.
With the support of weak women. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes, with
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
support of weak women. Yes. So yeah, that makes me. There was something I was thinking about. The women that will sit down and say, "Oh, a woman wants to be taken care of. A woman, I just want to be pampered. I don't want to do anything. A woman is not meant to do anything. She's supposed to just be pampered. Weak women. That's it. That's the truth. Because for me, and for many other women I have seen, there is a deep-seated dissatisfaction for the stereotype. I'm supposed to just do this particular thing. Who told you I can't do them all? Why? Why can't I do them all? If you say I can't, why? Why can't I? So if sometimes sometimes I feel like other women think I sound arrogant when I tell them that if I don't do something, it is on me. It's not because there's anything stopping me. I have every capacity within me to do this. I have the push. If I don't do it, it's not because I'm not weak. That's basically it. So our time is fast spent, and you have not begun the three-dimensional. So you know that you are going to come back. you know. I told you that day that this cannot be a one-day conversation. It cannot be like for you. I mean, you just mentioned the heart, the body, the brain, and I know that women here. I know they are commenting, but I'm unable to even read the comments right now because of the screen. They are commenting. I think somebody said you are finished work. Yeah. So I would like for you to delve into this, but oh my God, it's already past 10. It's already past 10. I want you to respond to what the heart is. How the woman can trace back her roots to what she is, what that heart in her is, what her brain is. Because as far as from what you have said, I've heard this, but I am seeing further how this is true, that this educational system was not even, the woman was not in the plan. If she was in the plan, education would not be like this. The society, the cultural norms, where we are right now, what is expected of society, the woman is not in the plan. The woman's heart and brain was not factored in. Otherwise, oh no, plenty things would have not been going on as it is right now. So I don't know how we're going to do this because our time is up. And sir, please say yes first. Then we'll know where we're going from here. Say yes to coming back
No,
next week,
yes, yes,
please.
yes. Coming back. I'm there at
Okay,
your
sir.
service.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. We're going to have to begin from that point. You have broken the ground. You have laid foundation on what the three-dimensional woman is, what it is, and where the mistake began. So from on Monday, next, hopefully you are coming back on Monday, so that I don't want us to break the flow, please. Thank you, sir. So that we are going to go right into talking about the heart, the brain, the body. It is the less valuable, but it is an asset anyway.
No, there's no bother about it. It's an asset. Nobody, you can't take
Yeah,
that away. But
you
the
can't
thing
take
is
that
like,
away. Where will how will I give
it's like
birth? Very
it's
important.
like it's like a cake. It's like a cake. You
Yeah,
understand?
yeah.
The icing on the cake is nice, but if you make the mistake and think the icing is the most
It's all
important part of the cake,
there is.
you
Yeah,
are the one missing the whole point. That's the whole
yeah,
idea.
yeah. So
Have
this
you
is
not
where we're
realized?
going to start from.
Have you not realized that's the cheapest in the market?
Yes, that's the cheapest. Oh my god. Oh my god. And the woman keeps wondering why she's dissatisfied. So you find women having it all. Seemingly, they have it all. I mean, money, good looks, good, seemingly good marriages, but there's the uncertainty, the dissatisfaction, the unfulfillment, and she's wondering. I mean, I'm grateful that what is actually happening now is that we're no longer just shutting up and living and dying like our mothers did. We are asking questions, and these questions are the reason why this session is on. So I'm looking forward to next week Monday, sir. Thank you so much for coming on the session this week, and everybody else that has been here. Oh my God, I'm going to read your comments after the session. I hope, well, if we have a question, thank God Victor this thing is coming back on Monday. Please. Thank you so much, sir. I cannot say that enough. Have a pleasant night rest,
Thank
everybody.
you so much.
I'll see you on
That's right.
Monday.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay.